After 18 weeks, 271 regular season games played, the NFL playoffs are finally set in the NFC and the AFC. Tonight, on a Nation Sports Show, we bring to you our recaps for the final weekend of this year's NFL regular season. There were only 2 playoff spots remaining in the NFC and the AFC. What final 2 teams claimed the 7th seed in each conference? Also tonight, we bring to you our recap for Monday night's college football championship game in Los Angeles between TCU and Georgia. Did Georgia remain at the top of the college football mountain, or did TCU dethrone the Bulldogs? Also tonight, we crown our first NFL Pick segment champion for the regular season. And starting tonight, we make our predictions for the NFL postseason, as this Saturday, it is the start of the first round of the NFL playoffs. Super Wild Card Weekend. This Saturday, the real season begins. The road to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona begins. It's showtime. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go. All right, guys, we are here. We are live once again. It is another Tuesday. It is our Nation Sports Show, and we are live. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, like Steven said, the intro, week 18 is in the books. Super Wild Card Weekend this weekend. Boy, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about this past week's games as well, and I'm sure these boys here have some bones to pick, if you will. Oh, it's gonna be a rant-filled show. I can feel that in my bones for sure. But we also got, of course, NBA talk. We got a lot of sports talk to get into. We got to talk a brief minute about the epic failure that was the college football championship game. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about the collapse of certain teams in the NFL and the return of a NBA superstar tonight in his return since injury. We'll talk about that as well. Of course, I'm Ezra Vickery, and I'm here with the guys here. Let's introduce them. We got. Oh wait, before we do, let's go ahead and give you guys how you can follow us. Of course, you can follow us here on YouTube at youtube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Don't forget also Twitter.com/Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to follow, of course, the Nation's Corner, our sister show, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time every Saturday. Of course, that's with Deb Housen, Mongrovian, Mike Front Row, and Tony Justice. Don't forget to follow them as well. And don't forget to follow my group, Too Sweet Cosplay, at Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials. We should be having an announcement concerning our next appearance, hopefully within the next week. So keep an eye on our social medias for more of that. Also, don't forget to check out my appearance on the Nation's Corner last Saturday, where me, Too Sweet Neil, Front Row, and a few others covered Wrestle Kingdom 17 with our good friend Karen Peterson. So definitely check that out if you get the opportunity. But enough of my spiel. Let's get these men introduced. Let's get the show started. We got, of course, my buddy here, the man who rolls with the Roll Tide more than anybody else I know. One, the only, Joey Thornton. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. And I hope everybody's having an amazing start to the new year. Like Steven said, all 18 weeks of the NFL regular season are in the books. We got some playoff talk to get to, NBA talk to get to. So what the hell am I rambling on about? Let's go.
Well, usually it's nonsensical and about teams that nobody really cares about, but I'm not saying the Commanders, because the Commanders did me a favor, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But enough about that. Next we got with us the leader of the Niner gang himself. And the only sad part about the San Francisco 49ers is that they will not get an opportunity to go 5-0 and knock the Green Bay Fudge Packers out of the playoffs once again. But the Detroit Lions took care of that for me, and we'll be discussing that shortly. The one, the only, Kevin Rory. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, I'm a little upset because we can't get our hands on damn Packers and have Aaron Rodgers trying to switch from to switch from State Farm to Allstate. But I'm focused on this postseason coming up, and I'm about as focused as my Niners are right now, as they're on a 10-game winning streak. Count them up, 10, the hottest team in football, and I'm stoked for these playoffs. So let's go.
All right, here we go. This is going to be interesting. This show is going to be more shocking than the announcement that Stephanie McMahon has resigned for WWE, but of course that's for the nation's quarter. We got right here my heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, the founder of this show. This man right here, the man who's got more licks than a girl with a lollipop. The man who's got more drum hits. Man who's got more drum hits. The man who hits his drums better and more timely than Lars Ulrich on a bad day. The one, the only, Stephen Wyand.
I appreciate that intro, by the way. That was fantastic. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show, our second show of 2023. We are so excited to be here. And you were talking about, Joey, you were talking about being rambling. Were you born a rambling man? I bet not. Anyways, with that being said, let's go.
Good reference.
Let's go.
Hey, good reference. Steven, I did hear a rumor about you, though. I heard that they were going to ask you to be the drummer in the Foo Fighters, but they didn't need two people who looked exactly like Dave Grohl. So
right. All my life, I'm still searching for something.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Times like these are okay. But anyways, moving forward.
Yes.
We got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it, guys. I mentioned at the beginning the return of an NBA superstar tonight, and I'm talking, of course, about my buddy here, Kevin Rory's Golden State Warriors. The one, the only, Steph Curry will make his return after being out for several weeks with a shoulder injury. As of right now, it's being reported that he will be on a minutes restriction to make sure that he is truly 100% that way his shoulder does not get re-injured. Kevin, if you don't mind speaking to this, you being a Golden State Warriors fan that I know for pretty much all your life, and knowing your love for the Warriors and for Steph Curry, what does this signify tonight for the return of one of the NBA's sharpest shooters? And what does this mean for the Golden State Warriors going forward, as far as improving their record and getting back towards the top of their division?
Well, it means it's real significant because, Steph Curry being out, it actually was a blessing in disguise because it helped Poole get off his ass and get his head out of his butt and step up and play, and he has. And it also got Klay Thompson going. Klay Thompson with his 54 the other night. So other guys from the Warriors have just stepped up in his absence, and they're actually right at 5th place in the Western Conference right now, 6th, because everybody else in the conference absolutely sucks. So that's a good thing. Not really sucks, but it's up and down. It's an up and down conference. So the Warriors are right there through thick. And also, not to mention, Andrew Wiggins has missed a month between a hip flex problem, hip flexor, hip rotator problem, and he had a non-COVID related illness the last 2 weeks, and he's back in the lineup. So I think it's going to be big. And with the minutes restriction, I think Poole and Clay still going to find their grooves, and hopefully the Warriors get this thing turned back around. And they look like they have, because they're damn near undefeated at home. They've lost 2 games all season at home. The only problem is they lose every damn game on the road. So, well, I'm just hopefully they can get it back turned around and fix their defensive holes that they've got on the road, especially. And hopefully Jordan Poole learns how to play in another gym other than them in California and San Francisco. Jesus. But yeah, hopefully them boys can get going, man. And they got the Phoenix Suns tonight, and with no Devin Booker, so hopefully they can take care of business. I'm not sure if it's in Phoenix or in Golden State, but hopefully they can take care of business, because the last 2 games, Golden State won 5 straight, and in the last 2 games, all of a sudden, they get beat by the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons at the Buzzard. So, yeah, that was pretty ugly. But yeah, hopefully Golden State can get this damn thing turned around, which I'm expecting them to, especially seeing how thin the West is and how everybody's losing in the West. And so, yeah, hopefully they can get it turned around.
All right. Just to clarify, Kevin, the game is at Golden State tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's better than home. Again, Golden State damn near undefeated at home. On the road, not so good. Got to figure it out. But I will say Steph Curry is the leading vote getter for the Western Conference All-Stars right now as first place voting. The only thing is I don't take these player votes serious, or these fan votes serious, because Austin Reeves of the Lakers has been voted by the fans as an all-star. I said, are you kidding me? I said, this is why they don't take you idiots serious. All-star voting is a joke.
Well, speaking of all-stars, I believe all the all-star festivities are next month, I believe. And I think one key player is going to have to miss out. That, of course, being Mr. Kevin Durant, because he's out for a month now.
Yep, sprained knee.
Wow.
I mean, Brooklyn was rolling, so we'll see what happens if Kyrie can still take over like he has been, or are they going to start to struggle again? Because Kevin Durant and Kyrie looked pretty solid finally. It took them 3 years, but they finally
maybe Ben Simmons,
3 years too late.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben Simmons will step up his game.
Or maybe he just won't show up at all.
I would, if I was Calvin Ridley and I was betting on these games, I would bet on the latter.
Right?
Right?
Ben Simmons.
One of the
He said my name's Ben and I ain't in it.
My name's Bennett and I ain't in it because I left the chat too early.
Yep.
Oh, man. But yeah, like you said, Kevin, I think Stephen Curry returning to the lineup is going to give them a much bigger boost because, the Warriors have really played well in the past few games since Steph Curry's been out. But now that he's back or going to be back in the lineup, yes, he is going to be on a minutes restriction, but he only missed 11 games, so that's not too bad of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Curry will find his form. It ain't gonna take him long to find his form.
No.
Because remember what happened last year when Curry got hurt. Golden State got hot entering the playoffs, and Curry was still on a minutes restriction coming off the bench in that Nuggets series, and Jordan Poole stepped up and showed out. So maybe in a similar situation will happen, and Curry will, with his minutes restriction, will still cause problems on the floor, scoring. He's still gonna get 5 to 6 threes, no doubt, without trying.
Oh yeah.
And then Jordan Poole can still keep his game up to an A. So hope that I'm looking for that to happen, but we shall see.
Yep. We shall see. I mean, like when you look at when you look at how Golden State started the year, it was a very rocky start, and just not playing consistent ball. And I really, like I said on the show a few weeks ago, that I think the Jordan Poole and Draymond Green altercation before the season even started, that was kind of a testing point to see how resilient can they be, and how can they, go about with the season, and all that, and Golden State.
Like you said, Steve, I think it played a little bit of part, but again, I believe Steve Kerr when he says, because he's been a part of championships, he's coached championships, he's been there, he's seen championships. The problem is that championship hangover. Like, you just won a title, you just are ready for the postseason. You don't give a damn about the regular season. You're just they're not
getting the dance.
Defensively, they're not hungry. They're just going through the motions because they're defending champions. They want that playoff atmosphere. They're spoiled. They're not four-time champions. They're spoiled to playing in the playoffs. This regular season stuff, and they're older now. They just don't care for it. They're just waiting for the playoffs.
Yep.
Because we've seen that with the Kevin Durant win, 2018. They have a similar altercation as well with him and Draymond.
That's true.
Made up for it and ended up in the finals and ended up Klay Thompson being hurt and Kevin Durant being hurt from literally sweeping the Toronto Raptors and ended up losing in 6. But I mean, let's let the dust settle and let the postseason clear, and let's see where we're at now. Because I think Golden State by the end, about March, they're going to turn it up. They're going to start showing out. Steve Kerr's going to have his rotations locked in, and them boys are going to start getting ready to play some playoff basketball. So
because you get them in the dance, they're dangerous. On the road, at home. I mean, especially in that playoff environment. I mean, they can rattle off, consecutive victories, and we know how dangerous this team is. It's just that they're turning the switch on and off, when we shall see, as the season keeps progressing, we're already over halfway the mark for all the teams in the NBA, and we shall
go ahead.
And we shall see, how Golden State does, because like we said, if they can string multiple game winning streak again, like they were on, I think that Golden State is going to rebound, and they're going to find themselves either as the 7th seed, or they might just slip in the back door at the 8th seed.
Yeah, you're right. And again, another thing that's fueling that fire is the Memphis Grizzlies running their mouth. And I love John Morant, but they've talked a lot of shit for a team that ain't won no championship. And you're poking fun and you're poking the bear. Don't wake up the bear, because you wake up the Golden State Bear and Draymond and Klay Thompson on Christmas Day when they spanked your ass with no Steph Curry by 40 almost. I mean, don't do it, Memphis. You're going to wake up an animal and out the playoffs again.
Could you imagine that, dude? 7-game series in the NBA opening round between the Grizzlies and the Warriors, and Golden State wins in Memphis in Game 7?
I believe they could. I believe they would.
I think so, too.
Because, again, this statistic still is true to this day. In a series that Draymond, Steph, and Klay has all played the entire series, they have not lost. They're undefeated.
They are essentially this versions of the 2007-08 Boston Celtics team.
Well, I guess if that happens, then one certain Dylan Brooks from Memphis will be pissed off about that. But what do we know? The dude's a sore loser anyways.
Yep, he'll be pissed. But, I mean, Memphis does have a good basketball team. It's just that they're all talk. They haven't done nothing. If you won at least a championship, hey, you have room to talk because you have climbed to the top of the mountain. If you haven't even tasted victory or even been there, then you don't know what it's like to be in the spotlight playing for all the marbles and the chips on the table. Golden State's been there 8 times, and have won 4 championships together.
Mm-hmm. You see, and how many years was Memphis considered the laughingstock of the Western Conference?
4 years. Even before and after Zach Randolph and Mark Gasol, before they came to the team, and even after they left, nobody took Memphis serious.
My point exactly.
And John Morant, he's a hell of a young talent. He's 22 years old. He's a talented young kid. But he doesn't have the experience that a Stephen Curry, a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green, have. These guys have been through the trenches. They've won together. They've lost together. They cried together. They've done it all. They've done it all. Even Kevin Durant's done it all. All of the great players that have came before them and after, these great men that have taken the court have won and lost together on their respective teams because they have the willpower to say, I don't care what it takes. Because if you go through adversity, that honestly shows you the true test of your team. Because if you can overcome adversity, then you can overcome anything that any obstacle throws at you. And again, Memphis has a talented basketball team. It's just that Memphis is not, I will not take them seriously until they take out Golden State. And last year in that semifinals matchup, you mean to tell me that everybody was like, if Morant didn't get hurt in game 4, this could have been a different series. Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
No, that's complete bullshit because they actually played better defense without John Morant. Their
Correct.
defense was a lot better with Tyus Jones in the game.
Exactly, because
Way
Tyus Jones'
better.
defense was more locked down than Morant's was.
Way
And-
better, yeah.
Way better.
But just like and this is the one time I actually agree with Kendrick Perkins because his basketball mind. He said, "Rivalry? What rivalry? You got to fucking win a ring before you
This
can talk
ain't
about
no rivalry.
No.
Golden State put your ass out nonstop. It's just like the Houston Rockets in 2018 with Golden State. It ain't no rivalry. They just whooped your ass and took you to the woodshed.
See, and this, you know what? This Memphis Grizzlies team of 2022-23 is the 2017-18 Rockets all over again. All over again. It's a collision course of destiny for Golden State because they're going to meet Memphis in the playoffs. We don't know what round it's going to be. More than likely, it'll probably be the first round. Or hell, it could be the second round. But either way, Golden State and Memphis, mark it down. January 10th, 2023. I am marking this down. I'm guaranteeing that Golden State will meet Memphis and they will beat them in 7 games. Because I do not trust the pedigree of the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies don't even have a championship pedigree. They have talented young athletes on that basketball team, but they don't have the grits, the inner strength to pull through adversity. And when you're in the postseason, all bets are off. There's no tomorrow. It's win or go home. Especially when you get down there in the final couple of games of a series. If it's 3 games to 1, 3 games to 2. If you're trailing, you got to have that mentality. Hey, it's a game 7. We're not going home. And I just don't understand Memphis. Quit talking, because when you talk all of that bullshit and don't back it up, you're going to have people like Charles Barkley and everybody in the NBA analysts, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, they're going to be coming at you telling you, hey, you've talked all that junk and didn't back it up. What all that talking that you did, what did it lead to? Absolutely nothing.
Very interesting conversation from you gentlemen. This was I didn't expect it to take on this much life here with the return of Steph Curry, but very valid points. And I'm excited for the return of Steph because I think this is going to light a fire within Golden State, really get them back to their former glory. Hopefully, we're gonna see how things go on that front. A couple other key news stories that happened this past week, including the announcement that Kevin Durant is going to miss several weeks due to an MCL sprain.
And Brooklyn's been playing pretty solid basketball the last several weeks.
Yes, they have. So he's going to miss the next 2 weeks at least so far, according to NBA.com. Also, another.
I actually heard it was going to be a month.
According to NBA, it says 2 weeks. So they must have diagnosed and said the sprain wasn't as severe as they thought it was.
Guess not.
And then the Raptors, Otto Porter Jr. is out now. He underwent surgery on his left foot. So
Interesting.
he'll miss the remainder of the season. So he will not be playing for the rest of the season. And that seems to be about it. Right now, games going on. There's one game going on right now, and it's Detroit and the 76ers. Philly's up by 6 right now at the end, near the end of the first. We also got Also tonight, OKC and Miami, Charlotte and Toronto, Cleveland and Utah, Phoenix and Golden State as one of the big games tonight, and Orlando, Portland, Dallas, and the Clippers are all also tonight as well. So check your local listings at your channels and where you can watch the games.
Yep.
So definitely on that. Usually we don't talk about Major League Baseball, but the big news coming out of the league is that Carlos Correa has now signed with the Minnesota Twins on a 6-year deal worth I believe it's
200. I think it was like 200.
200 million.
Yeah.
Jeez.
6 years, 200 million pending a physical. And the funny thing is, the whole physical thing, they did an MRI over when he was trying to sign with the Mets, and the Mets didn't like the physical, so they dropped the deal off of Carlos. And so Carlos said, you know what, I'm going to try it. And the Minnesota Twins are like, oh, no problem. We'll take it.
Yep.
Hey, as long as he ain't joining the rival Mets, I'm happy. I love it.
And also news, I believe, came down the other day that Bowers is no longer with the Dodgers.
Nope.
Yeah, They decided to come loose.
Yeah, they decided to cut him loose after all the stuff that went down involving him with the domestic violence issues. Also, got to mention that Trevor Story underwent right elbow surgery.
Yeah, I think I saw that he's expected to miss at least the start of the season.
Yeah, he's expected to miss the start of the season, but right after that, he'll be back to playing again. So it shouldn't be too long before we see him. It says right here the Blue Jays have now acquired right-handed pitcher. They signed catcher Rob Brantley, right-handed pitcher Julian Fernandez, left-handed pitcher Paul Fry, right-handed pitcher Drew Hutchinson, and right-handed pitcher Casey Lawrence to minor league deals. But then I believe they also signed says right-hander Zach Thompson. And Chavez Young was traded to the Pirates.
Interesting.
So that's pretty much it. From what I could see as far as any.
I did see something about White Sox pitcher Liam Hendricks has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes, yeah. Yep, that's right. Yes, he has been. That came out of Chicago. Yeah, that he's been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so now he's got that to battle. All the best to Liam Hendricks, who was one of the
prayers and thoughts go out to him as he's prepared to battle this.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road, but he'll come back, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he will.
But I think that's about it as far as that goes. You know what the rest of the show is all about? Football, baby.
That's right.
But you know what? Real quick, before we get into the actual interesting stuff, which is the NFL, let's talk about the raging, non-competitive dumpster fire that was the college football championship game.
Man.
All right, so I'm gonna let you guys take care of everything first because I got some thoughts to say about that game. So y'all just go on ahead and get it out of the way first because I got.
Here's the thing, real quick. I didn't watch the game. I'm glad I didn't. It would have been 2.5, 3 hours wasted on my life. Thank God I had to work. End of story.
This game was non-competitive. Georgia was the better team. TCU was overmatched, and TCU, by all means, didn't even try. Because when they had chances to pick up their defenses, when they had chance to not keep turning the football over and not fumbling, the game was over. When it was 17-7, I knew right then and there, it's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. And the fact that TCU just flat out just gave up. I'm sorry. They didn't even try. I mean, Bennett was getting whatever he wanted against their defense. Their defense was so non-competitive on covering the receivers and the running backs. And The O-line was just imposing their will on their front four and front seven. They couldn't get nothing going. And that second interception in that second quarter, that sealed their fate. And that was it. And listen, I mean, Georgia is a very, 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 very good program, and they've won back-to-back titles. Kudos to them. They have a lot of great talent on this team. And who knows, they might be becoming the next Alabama, program to send players to the NFL pros, to go to the pros and be a star NFL player. Because as we all know, last year, Georgia had 5 players go in the top in the first round of the NFL draft last year. And Georgia once again dominated, no contest. It was the worst college football championship game that I've ever witnessed. As soon as that first half was over, I didn't even pay attention to the game. It was over. It was over. Congratulations, Georgia. TCU, sorry, you quit. I'm sorry. You didn't even belong in this game. You did not belong in this game. Now get out of my sight.
Well, TCU, they are very similar to another team in Texas. You could tell they're from Texas. They play like a team that's under the ownership of Jerry Jones. Let me just say that. But anyway, Joey's about that roll tide, and TCU's about that getting rolled over because they got rolled up on last night. Again, at least one positive note is I know we talk about sports, and some people believe sports being scripted like WWE and stuff like that because of funky outcomes and funny similarities and coincidences. But at least college football ain't scripted, because what kind of script writer would write that 65-7 shit? What? Yeah, so that game sucked. Move on to the next. I'm done with TCU. They just didn't have the athletes. It's not even fair. It's like putting a D2 school against a D1 school and saying go at it. And then it's like watching Alabama or somebody play Appalachian State or fucking Western Kentucky and thinking it's going to be a close game. That's a joke.
All right, Joey.
All right, so let's talk about this game, shall we? Let's talk about it. Well, first off, I want to start off by saying that this so-called college football playoff committee is a bunch of freaking clowns, because they were saying at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the college football season, they were like, our goal is to put the 4 best teams in the college football playoff. Yet, there's also another quality that those members of the college football playoff committee possess, and that is the fact that they're all Alabama haters. Case in point, when Alabama lost their second game of the season on the last play to LSU, the committee got together and they were like, you know what? Alabama has 2 losses. There's no way they're going to be sniffing anywhere near the playoffs. So Alabama just needs to pack it up and wait till next year, possibly. But then everything started to crash and burn, because Ohio State got their butts beat by Michigan on the last game of the regular season. Then on conference championship weekend, you had TCU that lost to Kansas State. And then you had USC get their asses beat by Utah in the Pac-12 championship. And now all of a sudden the committee is like, oh my goodness, what in the world are we witnessing here? Is it possible that we have to put Alabama in the playoff now? But then they're like, no 2-loss team has ever made it to the playoff in its 8-year existence, and it ain't going to start now. So, long story short, their so-called mantra when they were trying to put the 4 best teams in the college football playoff, even I know that's a bunch of bullshit, because Georgia is the only team that I think belonged in that college football playoff, because Ohio State, come on, you coast through the regular season, beat a bunch of nobodies, and then You let Michigan beat you by 3 scores on your home field for your only loss of the season? Give me a break. Michigan? Oh, don't even get me started with them because Michigan had a bunch of holes all season long and they just got lucky. And TCU? Come on, man. The only reason TCU got so far is because of their hotshot quarterback, Max Duggan. You shut him down, you shut the entire TCU offense down. So, I mean, the best 4 teams did not make it in the college football playoff because Alabama, even if they would have made it, I'm not saying Alabama would have beaten Georgia because last night, after that amazing performance by Georgia last night, nobody could beat them. But yet, if Alabama would have made it, they definitely would have given Georgia a much better game, for sure. I still think Georgia would have beaten them by like 7 or 10 points because Georgia's just that good. But, I mean, once again, the College Football Playoff Committee is eating fried crow. I guess you can put it that way. They're just eating straight up fried crow because they're like, oh, Alabama has 2 losses. They don't deserve to go to the playoff. Oh, shut your freaking mouths, man. Just accept the fact that you can't stand the whole Alabama dynasty, and now we're starting to watch Georgia become dynasty, which honestly I don't mind because Georgia is in the SEC. And last night, and this is my last point, Georgia has proved, or the SEC proved once again, why they are the standalone leader in college football dominance. A member of the SEC has won the last 4 national championships in a row and 5 out of the last 6. So everybody, all this talk saying, oh, the SEC is too tough. They're too overconfident. Anybody can beat the SEC. Every team is vulnerable. Every conference is vulnerable. Oh, please. No. You take Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Clemson, all these amazing college football schools out there, you put them on an SEC schedule, you're looking at maybe 3, 4, possibly 5 losses for each of those teams. So, once again, the SEC has proven they are the most dominant conference in all of college football. And as long as the recruits keep going there and as long as the coaches keep staying around, it's going to stay that way for many years to come. So, once again, the SEC is dominant. Everybody else sucks. Let's move on.
Yes, let's move on, shall we?
Yes, absolutely. Joey, you just hit the nail on the head, my friend.
Yes, he did. Now let's get into what we came here to talk about, and that is the NFL. And first, we got to start off with, of course, the best news of the week, and that is the ongoing recovery of Damar Hamlin. It was reported yesterday that Damar Hamlin is now now back home at a Buffalo hospital where he is receiving therapy and treatment right now. He's back. He says his talking and walking has been, of course, limited because of this situation, but they're working to get everything back to normal. He was able to FaceTime his teammates recently. He's been back on his social media game. He was able to live tweet and watch this past week's game, which we'll get to in a little bit. But some great progress being made, and continued prayers and all that go out to Damar Hamlin for a full recovery. So let's go.
Absolutely.
Number 3.
Before we go into the game review, I gotta ask real quick.
Oh God,
Kevin, why did you have that screenshot of that big old trash can behind you? Named Dak Prescott.
it's trash day. You got to take it out. No, but
exactly. But Damar Hamlin is an inspiration. The fact 1 week ago he was in Cincinnati in critical condition, we did not know would he even have function of his brain, of his limbs completely. in this amount of time. And boy, he has fought and fought and fought, and he has just thank God for that medical staff that saved his life. I mean, the timing couldn't be any more perfect in saving his life. And just, my goodness, it is a story unlike any other. And the fact that he will live a normal life, the fact that he has all use of his hands, his legs, and all of that good stuff, and he's able to speak, and he spoke to his teammates, like he said, this past week, and just the story is just amazing, and he is a true miracle, and thank God.
Yes, definitely. Yep, definitely on that one. Let's get right into it, guys. We got games to review, and we got one of the first games we got to review is the game that happened on Saturday, and that was the Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs dominating 31.
Ring around the rosy. Who would have thought that you would get ring around the rosy in the huddle? And too bad the play didn't stand. That's all I need to say about this game. That right there shows you what the Chiefs thought about their competition and the Las Vegas Raiders. They treated them like shit and they beat them up because
Hey, wait. What's his name has been doing those commercials, the State Farm commercials?
Yeah.
Where people have been, State Farm commercials where people have been admitting, that they're this and that.
Yep.
He says he's a bath bomb guy. Now he's a ring around the rosy guy.
Well, the Raiders had a good thought process. They said, we can't blow a lead if we never have a lead. So let's go get our ass. Stop, Raiders, you fucking suck.
Yeah, and now the Raiders are looking to sign Randy Guyer's favorite player, Tom Brady.
Yes! All is right with the world, folks.
All I can hear right now with Randy is "Go Argonauts."
But we love you, Randy. Hope to have you back soon, brother.
Yeah,
I know Randy's losing his mind.
Yep, go 03 Patriots. I'm sorry.
No, go 01 Patriots. The Tuck rule. Yeah, that famous game. Yeah. How about that, Randy? Yeah. I
want the 03-04 Patriots because that's the Flakegate Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
14 Patriots.
14. Oh, okay, we'll take that then.
14 Patriots was the Flakegate Patriots.
Yeah, because that way, because at that time Tom Brady's balls were getting deflated more than his bank account by Giselle is right now.
The Deflatriots.
That's what I call them, the Deflatriots. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyways, that was that game. And then the next game was the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC South, beating the Tennessee Titans. They won the worst division in the entire AFC.
If you're a betting man and you actually had in your mind.
Quickly, Steven, in all seriousness, though, Trevor Lawrence and company have been doing a hell of a job this year, despite the 50-50 record, and all that stuff. They've been doing incredible work. So congrats to Trevor Lawrence and company.
I would give them their props and shout out to Doug Peterson, great coach. That just proves everybody's suspicion that Urban Meyer is the worst NFL head coach of all time. But anyway, shout out to him. They're only going to get better because remember the acquisition of Calvin Ridley this year as he serves his suspension will be there for Jacksonville next year.
Was he betting on those games?
He was coincidentally he betted on the Jacksonville game and now he's traded to Jacksonville. But anyway, that's beside the point. But we talk about that. Now, how about this? I just read a statistic. The Tennessee Titans have lost 7 straight games.
Yep.
To end up blowing the division. Good job, Tennessee.
If you had Jacksonville when they were 2-6, if you had them somehow making the playoffs and you betted that, God bless you for doing that. Because you are a winning betting man by the skin of your teeth, and Jacksonville caught lightning in a bottle during the second half of this season. Doug Peterson is a leader of men, and he believes in his guys, And he put Trevor Lawrence in winning situations, and he gave that kid confidence to go out there, sling that football. Who cares if you make an interception? Get up, dust yourself off, and get back there on the field and do it again. Do it all over again and continue to play and pass and grow and mature. And that's what Lawrence did this year. I mean, look at that game against the Dallas Cowboys. That was the capper for me. The fact that he turns the ball over after getting a first down in the Dallas territory. Dallas punts the ball back to Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence leads them on a game-tying field goal drive to send the game into overtime. And Trevor Lawrence this season has had a hell of a run and just incredible. The defense, they made the biggest play of the game Saturday against the Titans, and Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, they did just enough to score a touchdown, but that defense kept them in the game, and they made the critical play of critical plays in that game. And that game was on, and I was like, man, whatever's going to happen, it's going to be a big play. And when it happens, it's going to happen. And the third string quarterback for Tennessee, he was thrown into the fire. Willis not playing good. Tannehill out for the rest of the season. And just the problem with Tennessee is they are a predictable offense. And
they have no receivers.
None.
They don't have no receivers. They got a rookie who's decent at best. But my biggest takeaway, like you said, Steven, that not only Doug Peterson puts Trevor Lawrence in winning situations, but the front office put the organization in a winning situation by spending over $300 million on free agency this season with Christian Kirk and the center that came from Washington and that the all-pro center. And then they got some defensive guys, Sidney Jones at corner and guys like that who were Pro Bowl caliber players. And then, boom, what do you know? They got a head coach under good leadership, and they start winning some more. So kudos to Jacksonville and Duval.
And Tennessee, Mike Vrabel, they literally ran Derrick Henry into the ground because that's the only offense that they have is running the ball. 30 touches, 104 yards, something like that. 100 yards, over 100 yards rushing, and they still lost the game.
Ay. All right. Next game on the docket is the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Falcons beat the Buccaneers 30-17.
Bucks did a typical play your starters to halftime and then bench them the rest of the game. Tom Brady played one half, so kind of predictable.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty much. And then the next game was probably the most emotional game of the entire weekend, and that was the Buffalo Bills first game since the Damar Hamlin incident versus the Patriots. And what a way to start it off. 94-yard kick return.
96-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, kickoff return for a touchdown in just absolute amazing fashion. And a stat about that's actually pretty almost haunting in a sense. It had been 3 years and 3 months since the last kickoff return for a touchdown.
You couldn't have scripted this any better. This is
if you believe in it, there was a sense of divine intervention on that.
This was something that you rarely see in professional sports. And that play of Nyheim Hines' 96th kickoff return for a touchdown, the first play from scrimmage of that game, that play reminded me with the raw emotion of the Buffalo Bills players and fans and coaching staff. That play reminded me of the Saints fumble recovery for a touchdown in their first game back in the Superdome since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. During that first game in 2006, when they got the go-ahead touchdown in that game to win their game, that right there, that crowd was loud in that game in the Superdome. And then this past Sunday, the coaching staff, the players on Buffalo, the fans were just overjoyed. And it was like you said, like it was almost like it was divine intervention. It was meant to be. the numbers. 3 years, 3 months since your last kick return for a touchdown, and you did it for number 3. I mean, Uncle Momentum is on Buffalo's side. And I'm pulling for Buffalo because the story is amazing what this team has gone through in the last 12 months.
I mean, that right there, like I told Steven yesterday when we were talking on the phone, is a once-in-a-lifetime script that will probably never be written again.
Sean McDermott, tears in his eyes. Josh Allen with his hands over his face like, what did we just see? It was unbelievable.
And you know
John Brown, after catching that touchdown pass, gave the game ball to the head trainer who was there with DeMar Hamlin at that time.
Yep.
What I thought was also insane was later on in the game, the Patriots had the Bills on the edge of their heels. They were about to beat the Bills, and then what do you know? They took the lead off a fumble recovery, kicked the field goal, went ahead, and kicked the ball back to Nyheim Hines for another 103-yard touchdown return, and essentially gave all the momentum to Buffalo to pull away through the game. So that's insane.
He might be the most lethal weapon on that Bills team that you better not kick to him, because if he gets a chance to return the ball, he is deadly.
Lethal.
He might be the secret weapon to the Buffalo Bills, success for the rest of the season.
We'll definitely see. Next game on the list is, of course, the Vikings and the Bears. Vikings beat the Bears 29-13. Fields did not play, obviously, because of the injury that he sustained. Plus, the final game of the regular season, so why not?
Yeah.
Is that a bottle of zesty Italian dressing? What the hell? No, I do not want a salad. Go away.
Yummy.
God. Lord help us. Yeah. What were you trying to say, Kevin? That thing of Italian dressing was more had a better it was more entertaining than watching the than watching the college football playoffs.
Oh yeah, it really was.
But yeah, the Vikings and the Bears. Vikings won 29-13. Fields didn't play. It was an injury, but also its last game, so why not? But thank you to Houston, and we'll get to that in a couple of games here. But we have the number 1 draft pick.
Congratulations. First time since 1947, Chicago, number 1 overall pick.
We are on the clock right now, and I know what we need to do. I'm sure the fan base knows what we need to do, and that is to get ourselves some, either an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, somebody to help us out. We don't need another quarterback, unlike that one dude who went on there and said they need to trade Justin Fields. What the fuck you talking about?
What are you smoking, right?
Get the fuck out of here with your bullshit.
Yep.
Fields is better than most of the fucking quarterbacks right now. The only ones are probably like freaking like the Josh Allens, the Tom Brady in his prime and stuff like that. Right now, fuck you. We're not trading. Yep. We're not going to get Bryce Young and then go trade Justin Fields. Why go with a guy who you don't know about, who you don't know how he's going to react in the pros, versus a guy who has had 2 years experience, who's one of the best running quarterbacks in the entire NFL right now, and who's broken several records in his second season, both team and NFL records, and has a good arm on him too.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have a better arm once he gets the right people around him.
Yep.
To me, that's just dumb. But
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that was another loss, of course. But whatever, season was over for us, anyways. But the next game on the docket is going to be the Ravens losing to the Bengals 27-16.
Who does it again?
Yeah, we're going to see a rematch come playoff time this upcoming week.
And the big question is, will Lamar Jackson play?
That is the $1 million question that has yet to be answered just yet.
Because Lamar Jackson did not play yet, and we'll talk about this when we get to our game preview about the next game. So we'll see about that. But yeah, definitely we'll see what's going to happen with that situation. But yeah, Bengals once again. Joe Cool taking out Baltimore. Next game is the game that helped us get the number 1 draft pick, and that is the Texans shooting themselves in the foot, in the face, in the arm, in the leg, and everywhere else as they beat the Colts 32-31. Thank you to Houston, and more importantly, thank you to our old buddy Lovie Smith.
Ex-Chicago Bear goes for the win to destroy the tank of tanks in Houston.
You know what? I have a problem with this. Like, I know I said it on the show,
Oh boy.
but like them losing did not hurt them whatsoever based off of team needs. Like Ezra just pointed out, okay, Houston's clearly going to take a quarterback. Chicago clearly has a quarterback. How is that hurting Houston in any way? So you know what? Lovie Smith goes out with the balls to try to go for the win and just say, fuck it, I can't hurt us. We're going to get the number 2 pick either way, regardless. Worst case, and still get a quarterback. So he goes out for your shitty-ass team with your shitty-ass roster, and you reward him by firing him after 1 year? Like, you don't even give a guy a fucking chance to win with a young group of guys. Like, look at Robert Saleh his first year in New York. He sucked. They sucked last year. They gave him another season with a draft and this and that. And what do you know? The Jets were on the cusp of the playoffs. But no, what do you do, Houston? Oh, we want you as a head coach. No, at the end of the year, no, you're fired. We don't want you no more. Who the fuck wants to come into that organization and coach this team if you're just going to come in there and treat them like shit? Nobody. Like, this is ridiculous. Nobody. I mean, come on, man. I have a huge problem with that. Like, you know what? That's okay, because there's rumors at it that when DeMeco Ryans leaves the 49ers for a head coaching job, that Lovie Smith is going to take our defensive coordinator position, who was well known for his defense in Chicago. So guess what? You're lost, Houston. Fuck y'all. We'll be glad to take him on our defensive side of the ball.
Nice.
I mean, you got David fucking Mills as your quarterback. You're playing 3 different quarterbacks in one game because your team sucks. Jesus Christ, man.
And ironically, their 3 wins this year all came against the AFC South.
Go figure. Piss ass division. Georgia could win the AFC South.
Right?
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Okay. Next game. Oh, so I know Steven's got a bone to pick with this one.
There we go.
Carolina Panthers beat the Saints 10-7. Oh, let's see. 5 what was it? 5 completions, 43
5 out of 15 for the greatest
43 yards. Not a single touchdown, and what was it? 1 or 2 interceptions?
Yes.
5 of 15 by the greatest quarterback in sarcasm history, Samuel Darnold. You suck. You make Cam Newton look like the GOAT. Unlike Cam Newton, at least Sam Darnold actually tried. Because when Cam Newton fumbled the ball in Super Bowl 50 against the Denver Donkey Broncos, when he fumbled the ball, he stared at the ball and said, you know what? I'm not even going to try to dive on the ball. At least Sam Darnold actually tries. But you mean to tell me that a professional football team wins a freaking football game when your quote-unquote starting quarterback throws 5 completions and he attempts 15 passes for 43 yards? 2 interceptions?
Well, look. Coincidentally enough, the only touchdown the Panthers got came from who? Michael Jordan, not the Bulls' Michael Jordan.
A spectacular touchdown by
So now
Michael
there's
Jordan.
this going around on NFL memes saying Michael Jordan 1 touchdown NFL, LeBron James 0. Ha, beat that. Michael Jordan.
No, you know what the hilarious thing is? You know what the hilarious thing is that the only touchdown they got Yeah, it was from a player named Michael Jordan, and of course Michael Jordan is from North Carolina. He is the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. So you know what? It all makes sense.
It does, but this still doesn't make sense to me. Sam Darnold, 5 of 15 for 43 pissing yards, no touchdowns, 2 ugly interceptions, and Andy, I can't play in primetime Dalton.
Football players that scored more yards and had more completions than he did.
Right. And Andy, I can't play in primetime Dalton. You blew it. You absolutely blew it. And
if Alabama was a freaking D3 school, they would score better than they would.
Yep. Will Lux blew it.
South this year.
If Georgia was in the NFC South, they would absolutely run through that division. I mean, that was an ugly game. And, the people that went to that game on Sunday in New Orleans, you know what? You're better than me. Because there ain't no way I would spend my money on a game like that, knowing how both teams are garbage. And Will Lux, you blew it as well, buddy. 55 yards, field goals for the win, not even close. And Andy Dalton's passes, just like the Titans and Washington, comes up short. Oops, did I say that?
If you went to that game, you're entitled to financial compensation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was a horrible game. No team could move the football. It was terrible football. And somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and unfortunately the Panthers won. Sam Darnold, you suck. 5 of 15, 43 yards. Now go away.
Well, the good thing is, the rumor is that he is calling it a career this year, so thank God.
Oh, good. Good for him.
Anyways, moving on, before we get too far deep into this trash heap, let's talk about the Steelers beating the Browns 28-14.
16 consecutive years in a row for the Steelers with a winning season and not going under 500.
Yep, absolutely. Mike Tomlin, once again, somehow working that magic.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's done a hell of a job with that Steelers team. As bad as they really are on offense, with the rookie quarterback who looked like a big pile of trash at times, and sometimes he looked like gold. He's done a phenomenal job. So my kudos to Mike Tomlin. And then Najee Harris looks like one of the biggest bust running backs I've ever seen, and Tomlin still wins. So he's done a good job. But I do have one particular problem. During a sack by a Steelers defensive lineman, their celebratory sack celebration was CPR on the field, which was very insensitive, I thought. That occurred last weekend. And I really wish the NFL would fine them for that.
Yeah, and understandably so. Understandably so, I get it. It was probably in the heat of the moment. Understandably so. But in the end, you got to think. You got to think before you do stuff like that, especially with what just happened with DeMar Hamlin. That it's a very sensitive subject right now. We still don't. We know
it just happened.
It just happened. It just happened a week ago. So I don't know why that touchdown celebration needs to happen. That's just ridiculous in my opinion.
And I know it shouldn't have happened because EA Sports just came out today and removed in a patch on Madden 23 the CPR celebration in the end zone. Like, it's no longer a celebration now. They removed it. So that's how you know, you're not supposed to do shit like that.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson had 19 and 29, 230 with 2 TDs and 2 picks.
Good job, Watson. Mediocrity at its best.
He only threw those 2 picks because he was tired, if you know what I mean.
So
he needed a massage.
Money for nothing and chicks for free. Good job.
Oh, that was a great Dire Straits reference. Great job, Steven.
Thank you.
You actually do something great for once. Congratulations. There's a first time for everything.
Hey, that's the way I do it sometimes.
Oh, damn, we missed a game. The Dolphins and the Jets with the whack-ass whack-ass score of 11-6.
Yawn.
Yeah, that's score.
Football. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just bad football.
Terrible.
This was like the Panthers Saints 2.0. Couldn't nobody move the ball. Tyreek Hill was crying all game. He's actually hurt. It was ugly football to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next game was the Eagles beating the Giants 22-16.
Boy, Philadelphia looks suspect as all get out, even with Jalen Hurts coming back.
I don't care what nobody says. Jimmy Garoppolo went through the same injury last year, and he was hurt for 10 weeks throughout the whole playoffs. Jalen Hurts is not 100%. You can see it. Then what made it so ugly is they didn't beat Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and company. They beat a bunch of practice squad players. They literally played not one starter for the New York Giants, and Philly had to go through an onside kick at the end to pull it out or recover an onside kick attempt by the Giants to pull it out. I'm sorry, but if the Eagles keep playing this, the Niners are going to straight them out in the playoffs with Jalen Hurts hurt. So Philly's on the cusp right now. They're reeling. And especially by them clinching the number one seed, that number one seed, let me remind you, is a curse. Last year, both number one seeds got put on their ass after their first week bye in the division round. So Philly, good luck. But as good as y'all played early in the season, don't pull a Pittsburgh Steelers and get blown out in your first game. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
All right. The next game, Joey, you should be proud. Washington Commanders beat the Dallas Cowboys 26-6.
How about them Cowboys?
How about Stephen A going off on them Cowboys again?
Kevin backed away from his screen and just looked off into the distance and was nodding. Like, so disappointed.
Oh, Dak Prescott, once again, you are going to prove, you have proven and once again going to prove that you cannot make it in the playoffs. You're not going to get past the playoffs this weekend, buddy. I'm sorry, but
I just
that trash can living like Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street.
14 for 37, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception for Dak. For Sam Howell, 11 of 19, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
And Sam, that's not a bad debut for Sam. I mean,
no, it's not.
Here's a guy who was riding the bench all season watching the biggest bum of a quarterback in Washington history named Carson Wentz choke week after week after week after week. And then Taylor Heineke trying to give us a little bit of life, trying to kept us in a playoff picture for a good number of weeks. But Sam Howell, I think he might be our quarterback of the future. I mean, yeah, he's definitely got some kinks to work out because he's, of course, a rookie. But you give him some time and give him a good offensive coordinator that'll work with him, and I think Sam Howell could be a good quarterback for years to come.
Yeah, he played a pretty solid game. He did throw the one pick, but that happens when you're a rookie, when you're new to the game and, the pros and all that stuff. But what isn't new is Dak Prescott absolutely screwing it up and throwing another pick six. It is glorious. It is a beautiful disaster picture painted to a perfect 10, baby. And that's why the Dallas Cowboys are where they are at right now.
So,
all right, Kevin, you got anything you want to say?
Oh yeah, I got a bit. Dak Prescott, you look like complete garbage. You get paid $45 million to look pedestrian as just someone else. Random Joe walking up and down the road. You played 5 less games than anybody else in football, and you lead the league in interceptions and pick sixes. By the way, you've had more touchdowns to the other team than you threw to your own team. Let me just say that. Dak Prescott, or should I name him Trash Pickcott, because that's all he is trash and picks each game, in and out. And you know what? I can't even talk about CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb ain't got a chance to see the ball when Dak Prescott can't throw the ball. He throws it erratically in Washington defense, who, not to toot my own team's horn about, but my boys put up 37 on Washington's defense. Dallas couldn't put up 6. And then you know what? All Michael Irvin throws about is Dak Prescott. He as a starting quarterback, his team's averaging 35 points per game when he's a starter. Well, how many you score Sunday, genius? 6. Couldn't even kick a point after. You couldn't even kick the extra point, for Christ's sakes. And then you want to talk about a defense. No offense, Joey. With all due respect to Sam Howell, this had more shit from Dallas than it did good from Washington. Although Washington is solid, this was more about bad Dallas and falling downhill fast because where was Micah Parsons? Where was y'all's savior and so-called competitor for defensive player of the year? Because I didn't see that brother on the field making plays. I seen a rookie quarterback making his first start, a third stringer at that, throwing the ball up and down the field on your monkey asses, and Trayvon Diggs looking like a complete clown, and Micah Parsons just looking dumb. But that's y'all's defensive player of the year. Okay, Nick Bosa would never. Let me just get that out the way. And then second of all, you get 40 put up on you to Jacksonville. You get the Texans put up 30 on you, and now you let a third stringer make his first career start and just throw the ball up and down the field on you, while Dak Prescott continues to play like a big sack of stinky crap that has been out in the heat, boiling and sizzling for 3 days. You know what? I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself. I've been kicking myself for days now because I picked these clowns. I picked these clowns as my tiebreaker game, and true to the Dallas history, they let me down. When you got your hopes high on them to win a game against Washington, 4th place Washington, you let me down. Congratulations, Dallas. And good luck with Tom Brady, because this playoff script has a disaster written all over it, because you got playoff Brady at home on grass against the Cowboys with their history. That does not sound like a good script for the Cowboys. Oh, by the way, another statistic: the Cowboys are 1-5 this year when they play on grass surfaces. Tampa Bay is a grass surface. So good luck, Cowboys fans. Don't cry too hard. I'll be sure to buy a box of Kleenex for you this week. And if you need them, I'll ship them out to you in the mail.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
That was glorious.
Okay.
Oh, see you ball can't throw the ball.
Oh my God, that was bad.
Brother.
How about them Cowboys losing in the playoffs on Monday against Tom Brady and the Bucks?
Yeah, where your season will come to an end.
All right, guys, here we go. We got the Chargers and the Broncos, which is a competitive game. 31-28 Broncos.
And I'll say this real quick about this game, and Kevin knows where I'm going with this. The Chargers are absolutely stupid. You're locked in at the 5th seed, and you play all your starters for no particular reason. And what happens? Mike Williams, Joey Bosa are out. Bosa, done. Mike Williams might come back. Maybe. We don't know. But you suffered the consequences courtesy of the football gods.
Let me just say this. Where was this Russell Wilson all season? Like, he waited till after the party to cook. Oh, the party's over. Now I'm going to start to cook. What the fuck? Broncos country, let's ride. It's too late for riding. Now you're walking on all fours, asshole. Russ.
Oh my gosh.
Kevin's in rare form tonight.
Oh, I'm my blood's boiling on some of these games.
All right, next game. Let's get to it then. It is the Seahawks and the Rams. Seahawks, Sea Chickens win.
Luckiest team on God's green earth, the Seattle Seahawks.
Neither one of these teams should have been in a professional football game. Both of these teams absolutely sucked. And by the way, let's just call a spade here. The Sea Chickens have been limping across the finish line for 6 weeks now, and it don't spell good for them come playoff time. They have just been struggling. Geno Smith got brought back down to earth real quick, throwing pick after pick and getting hit after hit. The only thing that's got Seattle somewhat in these games is because their defense has improved since week 1 and they're making some plays. If it
and
was
they're
just
playing
over,
shitty
they
teams.
have
No
done
offense.
crap. They have done crap for 6 weeks now.
I
And
mean,
they better be glad Baker Mayfield helped eliminate his own Rams by throwing a fucking pick. Just a dumb pick in overtime. Just going, fuck it, I'm going to chunk it up. You know you don't have Cooper Kupp down there, right? You got some jabroni from your practice squad with down there.
Yep.
Yeah, that you suck. Like Stafford hit. Baker Mayfield literally helped 3 teams get eliminated from the playoffs this year. It's incredible. He got his Panthers eliminated. He made the Lions get eliminated, and he helped the Rams stay eliminated. Congratulations, Baker. It takes real skill to do that.
And the Rams also continued the tradition of screwing over teams that were on the verge of making it. Last year it was the Saints, and this year it was Detroit.
Yep, they're good. And another thing, let's just call a spade here for the Rams real quick. This has been the worst season in NFL history by a defending Super Bowl champion in the modern era.
Yep.
It's insane. Like, that's the most losses by any defending champion in the history of Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
Like you really, and this is probably the end of a dynasty because Donald really didn't even want to play this year. He got hungry for another ring and got greedy. He was wanting to retire last year. And McVay said, when Donald goes, I go. And Stafford's got like 1 year left with that neck injury. Who knows? I don't know. It's about to be the end of a
Stafford was not the same this year.
And now
Cooper Kupp, not the same.
And now Sean McVay might be leaving as head coach.
Yep.
He's out.
Yep. I agree. He's out. All right. Next game on here is the next game on here. We only got 2 more games left on here. We got the 49ers, of course, stomping the Arizona Cardinals 38-13.
And also stomping Cliff Kingsbury out the door.
Yep, that was announced that Cliff Kingsbury has been fired.
Well, who didn't see that coming? But finally, my blood can stop boiling for a second, and I can kind of rejoice because my Niners, boy, that offense, Brock Purdy, he broke the rookie record for 49ers history for rookie quarterbacks for touchdown passes in a season. And get this, he only played 6 games. There are people on ESPN literally voting him as offensive rookie of the year for only 6 games over like Garrett Wilson, etc. That's incredible. But Christian McCaffrey, this brother is the MVP of acquisition for the year of 2022-2023 as far as the NFL. Since he's got here, 9-0. They are 9-0 when McCaffrey starts. They are on a 10-game winning streak that is got them steamrolling into the playoffs. By the way, fully healthy outside of a quarterback situation, obviously. But as long as Brock Purdy's making the right reads, and Kittle, oh my God, Kittle has 8 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Like, he's on a roll. Debo don't have to do much. IU, finally, he's got 1,000 yards receiver, the first receiver in San Francisco to do that since I believe it was Crabtree in 2012. And that's incredible. And McCaffrey, like I said, that brother shows out a week. And this defense also hoisted by your 2022 sack leader and most likely defensive player of the year, because technically the voting has stopped and all odds have been took out of the defensive player of the year award voting. So that tells me right there, I think Bosa got voted in. So Nick Bosa should be defensive player of the year, sack leader, and these brothers are ready for the playoffs as they get the Seattle Sea Chickens in the first round. Yes, I think it's going to, like everybody says, what do you think about that? Yeah, it's hard to beat the team 3 times. Y'all dealt with that last year with the Rams. I said, okay, but the Rams were talented last year. With all due respect, Geno Smith and company are not even near the same talent level as the San Francisco 49ers. So as long as the 49ers don't shoot themselves in the foot, they should be on the right path to start this wild card weekend out. So let's go now.
Bang, bang, not a game.
Yep, we got that going on. And then next, the game that made me the happiest of all this week.
Yes.
That is the Detroit Lions eliminating Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Eliminated! Bye-bye, Rodgers.
Why, Ezra? Why? Now my blood is boiling again.
It's the last game. What do you expect me to do, man?
Oh my God!
I gotta make sure everything's covered. I gotta make sure everything's covered. It's like a women's match in Saudi Arabia.
Well, This is going to be my next Dallas Cowboy 2.0 rant for this damn game.
Hey, floor is yours,
boy.
Kevin. Go for it.
You know what? All offseason, all we hear about is Aaron Rodgers this. Aaron Rodgers wants to get paid this. He's crying about Adams leaving. But you know what? This whole offseason, you've been crying about your defense, this and that. Well, in this game, buddy, this is all your fault. You lost. You choked. You sucked. You let Jared Goff completely run circles around you in the fourth quarter, throwing pick after pick, which one got bailed out by a penalty, but you kept throwing picks. You look shook. You look horrible. And Christian Watson caught for over 100 yards this game. He did his thing. The defense held the Lions to a decently amount of points, low amount of points. You still choked this game. But all year and all last 2 years, all you've been running your mouth about is, I need weapons. I need help. I need a defense. Well, guess what, buddy? When it mattered the fucking most, your defense came through. Your help came through. Your running backs came through. But you, sir, did not. And this is where I have a problem. This week, leading up to a game, you have the golden chance of a lifetime. Oh, we're going to get in the playoffs. We're red hot. All these other teams are losing. We can do it. We're red hot, like Ezra said, not because of you, bum. You're red hot because your defense is taking over. Your run game is taking over. Aaron Jones is playing out of his mind, not because of Aaron Rodgers. But the whole week, instead of prepping for the game, you keep running your mouth about, oh, I'm going to miss the memories of football. Oh, I might retire. Why are you talking about that in a do or die game coming up instead of before the season talking about that? That would have been fine. But in one of the biggest games of your season this year, you're talking about retirement and, oh, I'm going to miss football, instead of one game at a time. Let's go ball the fuck out and win this game and get in the playoffs and make a run at it. But instead, you're running your mouth about, oh, I might retire. Oh, the memories are going to be fun. Oh, you went from being a bad man to just being bad. Because that's what you are this year, is bad. Your team has showed up. And another reason, you want to lay out a training camp. It ain't like when you had Devontae Adams, like y'all could just not work out, not practice, and come in week one and start slinging the ball. You have rookie receivers that got drafted. You picked up Sammy Watkins you have no chemistry with. Yeah, you had Lazard. You went and drafted Christian Watson, and instead of working on your chemistry in training camp, what do, Aaron Rodgers? You wait till the regular fucking season to work on your chemistry, which is why you got in that, 4-7 hole? That's why you had a losing record. Then when your receivers finally get hot, now it comes down to this do or die game. And you know what? I'm glad you lost, because that serves you right. If you would have just went to training camp, y'all wouldn't be in that predicament, and you possibly would be in the playoffs now. So good job, Aaron Rodgers, for choking this game, and it's your last game of your career. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. All that shit you were talking the last 2 years is absolutely mind-boggling, and it pisses me off. I used to respect this guy. I used to think he was the most talented quarterback in the NFL history. Not successful, most talented. But you know what? His attitude over the last 3 years, it has completely turned me around 180 degrees. But you know what? Shout out to the Lions, though. That team's going to be a fucking stud team next year. Mark my word. I would go as far, and I know it's early, I would go as far as saying they will win the NFC North next season. With the team they got, Jameson Williams didn't even play until like week 14, like late in the season. Not to mention their defense started coming along. Oh, and by the way, because of the Rams saying fuck them picks, the Lions have the 5th pick in the NFL draft this season. So guess what they get to do? Load up again. Can you imagine Aiden Hutchinson and, like, if they can get him, Will Anderson on both sides of the ball? Like that, this Detroit Lions team might be that team in the NFC North next year, especially
and you know
if the Vikings still doing them things.
And Kevin, I will add to your discussion right here, your monologue on this game. Sammy Watkins, before the start of this regular season, Watkins said that, oh, I love playing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the game right now over Patrick Mahomes. And where in the hell are you at, pal? You're sitting your ass on your couch watching Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the postseason. And oh, by the way, Mahomes threw for over 40 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. Aaron Rodgers this year threw for over 3,000 yards, not his typical season, but he also threw 12 interceptions this season, the second most in his career in a regular season. And that his passes, not just his passes being careless. You know what? Instead of calling him Aaron Rodgers for this game, we're going to call him Careless Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers flat out, like you said, stunk the joint up. The receivers were dropping balls left and right. The offensive line could not get the running game going at times. The defense made some boneheaded decisions. And I'm looking at you, Quay Walker. Walker pushing that trainer away for the trainer trying to get in there and help the Detroit player out to get him some assistance. You do not put your hands on any training staff. And that right there cost your team 15 yards and a first down for Detroit. And Detroit punched the ball in the end zone to take the lead. And then the Packers' next possession, or a couple later, Rodgers throws the pick. And then Detroit said, you know what? We're not going to the postseason, so the hell with it. They rolled the dice on 3rd and 17 or whatever. They gained like 20 yards. Or something, or no, it was like 3rd and 20, 3rd and 21, something like, or 2nd and 21, something like that. And they gained like 20-something yards to get it to the Green Bay 17. 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3. And that right there, I was like, yep, it's over. And then going for it on 4th down, Goff getting the first down with the completion, sealing Green Bay's fate in frigid, cold Green Bay, Wisconsin. Aaron Rodgers, like you said, Kevin, had an opportunity to play a game of a lifetime, to play that typical Aaron Rodgers game that we know he has done in the past. But this is not the same Rodgers. Rodgers is not, he wasn't even half the player that he has been in the last couple years, let alone his 2 MVP seasons in the last couple of years. He stunk the joint up pretty much all season long, and he picked the worst game of all time to do it in the most important of times during your regular season. And that was the last game when your team was on a 4-game winning streak. You were 4-8 after that loss against Tennessee. And then you rattle off 4 consecutive victories to put yourself into a position to go where you are at. And you absolutely shit the bed. You deserve to sit home on the playoffs, on your couch watching the playoffs and watching yourself on your stupid TV commercials. Now get out of our sights, you goof.
Yeah, I'll add on to one thing you say about Quay Walker, though, because this was the worst timing to shove a training staff employee the way like they are being praised this week, well deservingly so, because the occupation saved DeMar Hamlin's life. Let's call it what it is. So this was not the good timing to shove a training staff employee of any kind on a team. So good job, you bum.
And oh, by the way, I'll add to this too. How about Douglas for Green Bay? The Detroit's fixing to kick the field goal. And this idiot goes onto the field and picks up the football. What are you doing? And then you give Detroit another freaking first down? Come on.
Boneheaded plays.
Stupid. Your receivers don't give me the excuse that your receivers couldn't catch the ball because it was cold. Bullshit. Any team who knows how to play in a cold environment catches those passes, concentrates on catching the ball. Stop looking at what's in front of you, which is the grass, and looking at the quarterback and concentrating with your hand motions to catch the ball. I mean, you had multiple drops in this game by receivers, and they picked the worst time to drop the ball.
Well, Stephen, going back to what you said about Sammy Watkins, at least he gets to play in the playoffs for Baltimore this weekend.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Sammy Watkins joined. He rejoined the Ravens, I think, a few weeks ago.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yep.
I mean, Watkins did not have the same productive season that he had with Kansas City. And I just find it so funny how all of these, there were some players in the offseason that were just crap talking Mahomes, saying, and saying that Rodgers is the best quarterback. Where's he at? Where's he at? No, not in the playoffs. Sorry.
Sitting on the couch.
Yep. And Mahomes is where we thought we had it in the back of our minds that the Chiefs were going to make a run, but we didn't know how they were going to be. And they're a more dangerous team without Tyreek Hill. They're a more lethal team right now. And the fact that Mahomes did it again, throwing for over 40 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, over 5,000 yards, and he might be arguably you could call him the MVP. You can make that argument, but the fact that Rodgers is he is honestly one of the most overrated big time players in any situation. And he reminds me of the way Peyton used to be in the regular season. He had all the accolades, and then he picks the worst times to piss a game away. And I honestly wish Detroit was going to be in the postseason, but I'm even more happy that Detroit not only swept the season against the Packers, but unlike Green Bay, Detroit finished over 500.
That just means they're on their way up.
Get up, pie. Get on up.
That's the way it should be. Green Bay should falter, and Detroit should rise. Good thing that's happened. Hey, that makes me happy. That makes me happier than a clam in the middle of the ocean. So let's fucking go on that.
Yes.
Let's go ahead. And Joey, our review is done. I believe you have a predictions champion to crown.
Indeed, I do.
And if it's yourself, you better celebrate in another chat room.
Yeah, indeed, I do. I have our first prediction battle champion. But first, I want to start off by saying, it was awesome getting to do this year. And I'm looking forward to already doing this come next fall, whenever the next regular season of NFL football rolls around. And it was a very tight battle from week 1 all the way through week 18. But alas, I do have to crown a champion tonight. And without further ado, the winner of our NFL regular season prediction battle champ is the one, the only, Mr. Kevin Rory.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Kevin
something
has
win a championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kevin took home our prediction battle championship with a final record of 179 and 93.
Hey, that's more wins than Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I've won more in the last 20 years than the Dallas Cowboys. Hey.
Me and Steven finished second and third with records of 178 and 94, but I finished second because I correctly predicted my tiebreaker, unlike you, Steven.
Yep, you did.
And of course, Ezra, I hate to say it, man, but you're the one that tanked after Randy bowed out. You finished with a record of 172 and 100.
Yeah, still better than the Packers.
Yep.
Yep. But yes, man, yeah, Mr. K-Rod, Kevin Roy is our prediction battle champion this year. And I'm already looking forward to doing it next year.
It was a lot of fun playing this. It was just tons of fun. And we did these scores. If anybody doesn't know, we did these scores off the cuff. This was not planned, not scripted. This is just us shooting the breeze on what we thought, having our natural reaction. Now, it's a little tough when the season is first starting because it's the first week. But as the season rolls along, you can kind of get a gauge on where these teams are at. But this was a lot of fun. And I'm so looking forward to doing this again next year.
Yeah, I think most of us are, definitely.
All right, so I think it's time for some playoff predictions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Gonna be a little bit different. Here we go. We got not just playoff predictions, wild card weekend predictions.
Yep.
So here we go. First game. We got 2 games on Saturday. First one is the Seattle Sea Chickens and the San Francisco 49ers at 4:30 p.m. Eastern.
Make it 11 in a row for San Francisco. I'm going with San Fran to absolutely annihilate Seattle. 31-13.
33-14. San Fran.
I'm going with San Francisco 34-7.
Ooh.
It's going to get ugly out there. I know playing a team 3 times, like I said, is a little tough task, but San Francisco, top to bottom, just out-talents them by far. We've seen that even last time. Remember when they played last game, if it wasn't for a bullshit roughing the passer call, that game was going to be 28-6.
Yep.
Which got wiped off the board. So,
yep.
San Francisco, 33-14.
All right. Next game on the docket is the Chargers and the Jaguars.
You know what? I'm rolling with Duval in this one for the upset. Jacksonville, 28. The Chargers, 26.
I absolutely.
I'm going 20. I'm going to do it a little different than you, Kevin. I'm going to go 27. It's going to be a little bit spaced out, but not by much. 27-23, Jacksonville.
I'm going to go Jacksonville because they have all the momentum on their side, and the Chargers have some stupid injuries at the worst time.
Yeah.
Herbert, I'm proud that Herbert got into the postseason, but it's too little too late. I think Jacksonville is going to absolutely rise up, and they're going to take this victory against the Chargers to advance to the divisional round. And that's why I'm picking the the Jacksonville Jaguars to win 27-24.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to ride with Jacksonville as well. My score is going to be a little odd, but I think it still might be pretty reasonable as well. I'm going to roll with Jacksonville in this one, 23-18.
Okay.
I think it is. I think it's worth noting. I don't know if you did already, Ezra, but the Chiefs and the Eagles are the teams on the bye this week because they got the one seed.
Yep.
No, I didn't note that. Thank you. Yes, the Chiefs and them are on the bye because they have
Home field.
because they have the home field advantage, so they'll not be playing this week. But there's still plenty of other games, and of course Sunday. And thank you for the NFL website for resetting and losing my fucking list, you asshole. Man, this app is worse than fucking Sam Darnold this past week.
Yeah, we got a trifecta of games on Sunday.
Oh yes, we do, and it starts off at 1:00 with the Dolphins and the Bills. Give me the Bills right now. Give me the Bills 34, Dolphins 14.
Give me Buffalo with the momentum on their side. You know what? I'm calling it right now. I think DeMar Hamlin's going to be at the game in the stands, and I'm going to go with Buffalo to absolutely knock off the Dolphins badly. I'm going Buffalo 40-10.
Ooh. All right. I'm gonna side with Buffalo also because Buffalo is going to be playing the rest of the season in honor of DeMar. So Buffalo's going to come out guns blazing. They're going to come out swinging. They're just going to dominate the Miami Dolphins. Give me Buffalo in this one. I'm going to go 37-13.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Buffalo, and it's as simple as no Tua turned the ball over. This team sucks. This offense can't get the ball to their playmakers. Give me Buffalo 32-9. Miami.
Yes, and I think I heard that Jalen Waddle might not even play in this game because of the injury he suffered in the win against the Jets.
Yep.
So,
right.
Next game.
Next game is the New York Football Giants versus the Minnesota Vikings.
What time, Ezra?
It is 3:30.
4:30.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to start this one off. I was talking to Steven about this game yesterday. I told Steven that I will not be surprised if this happens, so I'm calling it right now. Giants and an upset. I am going the New York Giants in this one. I'm going to go 27-21 Giants.
You know what? I'm not the only one, I guess. I'm going to Football Giants, man. I got to go New York. I think Minnesota's play has been too inconsistent. You don't know what Kirk Cousins you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get 2022, 2021 Kirk Cousins, or if you're going to get fucking Washington football team Kirk Cousins RG3 era. So we don't know which era we're going to get Kirk Cousins in. So it's kind of hard to tell. And of course, Dalvin Cook is out, right? He's done for the year, right? Or somebody was out. I don't know who, but somebody was out. Yeah, you know what? I'm wrong. Fuck it. But anyways, they still got Justin Jefferson, who's one of the best receivers in the game, so I'm not counting them out at all. But I just feel like their play's been super inconsistent. Too many close games that shouldn't happen. They should be able to finish off teams, and if they get in the lead, they don't finish off the football Giants. If they don't finish them off, if they get a lead, and they'll make a pay. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Giants. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to go 24-21.
Okay.
I'm also going to go with the Giants in this one because, yet again, like we keep saying with Kirk Cousins, you don't know which Kirk Cousins you're going to get because Kirk Cousins is a up and down quarterback, and he scares me to death in a close game, either when they're up or when they're down, because Cousins has that tendency to turn the ball over. And I think the Giants are going to win this game. I think they're going to win 23-20 on a game-sealing interception.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the upset too, because Kirk at 4:30 is not a good sign. But the Giants sat all of their starters, and when that happens, they're normally very rusty. So I think both teams play bad for most of the game. But then I think at the end, Justin Jefferson is just his talent takes over, and he has 4 or 5 completions on a drive. And just like the first game, I think the Vikings are going to win it at the end on a game-winning field goal by the skin of their teeth, 29-26.
Okay.
Hey, so Kevin, you're going against the grain here.
Yeah, I got to this week.
All right. Here is the Sunday Night Football wild card game, and that is the Ravens and the Bengals.
All right. Me and Steve were talking about this yesterday, and if Buffalo and Cincinnati win their respective games this week, then we will see the rematch of Buffalo and Cincinnati from that Monday night game. So with that being said, I'm sorry, Baltimore, but I got to go with Cincy. I got to go with Cincinnati in this one. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. And Baltimore, you may have lost in Week 18, but you're not going to get any revenge this week. So I'm going to go Cincinnati in this one. I'm going to go 23-15.
You know what? I'm feeling a little odd as well. I'm going to go Cincinnati in this one. I'm going to go 21-13.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cincinnati, but I don't feel great about it because Lamar Jackson, he has torched Cincinnati earlier this year, but I'm not sure how rusty that knee is going to be when coming back, because we obviously know Lamar is a run-first guy who can slide it up with his legs, but what good's his legs if his knee's not all the way healed?
Fully there, right.
So I think Cincinnati, it's going to be a close game. It's a divisional rivalry, so I'm going to go Cincinnati on a last-second field goal, 24-21.
Okay.
Oh, yes, and now it's time
Hold
for
on. I didn't get my
flashy
prediction yet.
game.
I didn't get my prediction yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Easily Cincinnati. The jungle's gonna be rocking, man. And
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be an amazing atmosphere. Cincinnati's been playing great. Joe Cool, of course, being Joe Cool. I expect this to be a pretty good game. I'm gonna go with the score of 27-20 Bengals over the Ravens.
Ooh. Okay.
All right, now let's end this Super Wildcard weekend with the trashy team going against Mr. Tom Brady.
That's right, Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay Bucks.
Give me the Buccaneers in this one because the Cowboys They just do not know how to stay in the playoffs because, 4 wins in the playoffs since 1996. That right there speaks volumes. And Dallas is on this cycle every year. I think Dallas is going to find a way to choke once again in the playoffs, whether it's choking a lead or just choking in general. I think Tampa Bay is going to come out and get them. I think it might be a little close, but then again, it might not be. But seeing as how it's Dallas and Dak Prescott, and they couldn't even put up.
You just never know.
Yeah, you just never know. So I think they're going to put up more than 3 points in this game like they did and compared to what they did in week 1. But it's only going to matter none because Tampa Bay is going to find a way to win. So give me Tampa Bay 27-14.
I am going to say this right here, right now. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be leading this game 20-17. And Dak Prescott is going to throw an ugly interception, and Tom Brady is going to absolute annihilate the Cowboys' so-called defense on that final drive. And that is why the Dallas Cowboys, as the song goes, are a beautiful disaster. And Dallas is going to lose this game against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers 24-20. Dak Prescott throws another pick. Oh, and by the way, how about not just one pick, 2 picks, including another pick 6 early on in the game. And that's why I'm picking the Bucs to beat the Cowboys in prime time, 24-20. Goodbye, Dallas.
Oh boy.
Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady's gonna be touchdown Tom Brady as he always is. I expect to see the flash of the return of old Tom Brady for one night only. Kind of like how Will Ospreay used Elevated for one night only at Wrestle Kingdom.
By the way, great match between him and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, we could definitely get into that some other time. But real quick, I'm gonna make this easy. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm gonna go 28-17.
Okay, so here's my thing. This is going to be the ultimate L by Cowboys and their fans. Remember last year when the 49ers beat their fans and or beat the Cowboys and their facial reactions were crying and sobbing in the stands? It's going to look very similar this year. Late in the fourth quarter, Bucks are struggling. You got Michael Irvin and other Cowboy fans praising the Cowboys defense. Oh, how about you Cowboys? How about the defense? Brady, just like the Monday night game against the New Orleans Saints, they're trailing 20-14. Game-winning drive at the last 5 seconds of the game to end the game, 21-20, Bucks advanced. And I will say this now here. Ezra says it's a one night only for the Tom Brady playoff. I'm gonna go farther. I think they upset the Eagles next week, and I'll get to that how that game plays out next week. But I think they get to the conference championship against Tom Brady's hometown Niners. I'm just gonna say that now, and I'll get into details when we get to it.
Man.
Okay.
All right.
What a way to end that segment, man. That was what great picks by everybody. Congrats to Kevin on being a champion. Hopefully next year hopefully next year Randy will finally get above 500.
Kind of like the Raiders. Maybe they'll get above 500 too. They're in the same boat.
Too bad Randy's a one-person operation. He can't fire himself. And here's the thing: if he fires himself, though, it's not going to cost him a shit ton of money, like the Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah, but since it's playoff time, let's have a little bit more fun and let's go ahead and give our predictions of who we think is going to make it to the Super Bowl this year, and see how we both do.
God help us.
And since I brought it up, I'm gonna go first because I told Steven this matchup yesterday. I will not be surprised if we see it in the Super Bowl, and I honestly hope we do see it. I'm calling it right now: Buffalo, San Francisco, Super Bowl.
You know what? You know what? That's my pick too. Buffalo and San Fran, baby.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Everybody watch the show. Watch our preseason episodes and watch what I said. I said Buffalo. I said San Fran. I said San Fran beat Minnesota. I don't think that'd be the case this year. I think San Francisco beats Brady again to get there. And I think Buffalo in the last minute outduels Patrick Mahomes to get there on their way to the Super Bowl. That's the matchup. Buffalo, San Francisco.
I said it before. Going into the season, it would not surprise me if the Bills and the Chiefs are on a collision course with destiny to the championship game once again, and I'm sticking to my guns. That's why I'm picking the Bills to get revenge. This time, not in Arrowhead, because if for those that don't know, if the Chiefs and the Bills advance to the championship game, it will be on a neutral field. And
That's
I
right.
give
if the Bills or Bengals make it to the AFC Championship, it will be the game will be played at a neutral site. So very interesting point there, Steven.
Yep. And I think that the Buffalo Bills are on a collision course with destiny, with the good karma on their side, with the great news of DeMar Hamlin, making that magical recovery, and just he is on the up. He's in Buffalo. He's back home after a week collapsing in Cincinnati. And that's why I am picking the Buffalo Bills to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And for my NFC Championship game, it's a little hard to pick because the NFC this year is so wide open. But since we're going there, I am going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to, like Kevin has said, and like y'all have said, I have the Bucks and the Niners in the NFC Championship game, and that's why I'm going to go with San Francisco to beat the Bucks in the NFC Championship game off of a great defensive scheme by that Niners defense. And that's why we're all picking San Francisco and Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Rock on.
Actually, and one last thing, though, I think it's interesting. I've seen the football and odds in Vegas. The 49ers, even though the Eagles got the 1 seed, the 49ers had the highest odds of winning the conference.
Absolutely.
Like plus 500.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, San Francisco has pure talent all over that field.
I mean, they won 10 straight, so you kind of can't deny that.
Philadelphia has all the pressure breathing down their necks next week. They're the top gunner in the NFC. Everybody that is left next week at the wild card weekend is gunning for them.
Yeah. Yep. Especially Brady. Again, like I said about Philly, their thing in the playoffs, if they play San Francisco or Tom Brady, is lack of experience. And that shows up big time in the playoffs. Shanahan's been to a Super Bowl. Like, this roster's been to a Super Bowl. Same with Brady. The Bucks, they've been to a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, guys. We're approaching the end of the show here, so let's anything else you guys want to talk about real quick before we head on out?
Real quick. The news came down last week of Dana White with slapping his wife, and
yep. It was announced today that a women's caucus is calling for the removal of Dana White as UFC president.
Wow.
Yep, it was announced this morning that was due to happen. So we may be seeing the end of one of the most powerful people in the entire world of combat sports.
Yep. I mean, that is not cool. Do not put your hands on a woman. That's not cool. Not good at all. And it's not good, especially with you being the owner of the company. And ironically, they were supposed to have a show airing on TBS after Dynamite called UFC Slap. And he gets caught on camera slapping his wife. And no shocker, the show has been pulled and canceled.
Yep. Oh, well, we'll see what happens coming up.
We shall see. And for folks, if you haven't tuned in already, check out the show from this past Saturday on the Nation's Corner with Ezra and Neil front row, Tony Justice, Elder, and Deb. And also Neil and you, Ezra, had a hell of an interview with one of the smartest wrestling fans that we know, Miss Karen Peterson. And it was a great sit-down interview talking about the great New Japan Pro Wrestling's pay-per-view from last week in Japan, Wrestle Kingdom 17. And don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner.
Absolutely. And that was a great show to do, man. First of all, I want to say a publicly thank you to Karen for coming on. She is an absolute expert when it comes to women's Japanese wrestling in general.
And Karen is a honest woman. She is a honest fan, and she does not give two damns on what you think on wrestling, because she will give her honest opinion on something that she doesn't or she does not like.
Yes, and that is a very much a good thing and very much a great thing in this in this day and age. But I gotta tell you that this was one of my favorite shows I've ever done as far as Nation's Corner goes. Incredible. And mind you, me and Steven, Neil, our buddy Andre from SiriusXM, of course, one of the lead producers of Busted Open, we, along with R.A. Davis, of course, we all sat up for all 6 hours of Wrestle Kingdom, watched every match. What a great night it was. But of course, you can check out our full review at the Nation's Corner episode. So definitely check that out, guys.
Again, Karen is an honest woman, and she gives her honest opinions on what she does and does not like in wrestling. And you got to hear her response on the women's match for the IWGP Women's Championship. I mean, it was a classic Karen response.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we close the show out?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, let's do it. Let's go with Joey. How about you start it off? Let's go. Final thoughts.
Once again, another great show with you fine gentlemen. Great analysis on NFL predictions. And once again, congratulations once again to Kevin for being our first prediction battle champion. Already looking forward to doing it next year. And looking forward to me, Kevin, and Steven hanging out, watching some good old Richmond Raider basketball.
Yes, sir. Next Friday.
In a couple weeks. Looking forward to it, guys.
Yep.
But until then, everybody out there, have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the playoff football coming up this weekend. And just have fun.
Yep.
Absolutely. Kevin?
It was a good show, and it was a good prediction battle too, man. That came down to the wire. I enjoyed it. It was real fun coming up with these scores and then watching every Sunday to see how we played out and how pissed off some of these teams, the Cowboys, made us when they let us down. I'm certainly glad my score didn't come down to a tiebreaker, for Jesus Christ, because the Cowboys would have let me down again. But there's one thing I want to bring up real quick, and it's an interesting stat that I just read that I want you guys to know too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brock Purdy for the Niners, 5-0 as a rookie. The only other quarterback to have that many wins or more, Ben Roethlisberger's rookie year when they won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And
Very
went to the
interesting
Super
stat
Bowl
there.
with the bus, Jerome Bettis. I'm not saying he's going to be Ben Roethlisberger. That's an interesting storyline to follow, though. Just keep that in mind. But, yeah, it was a good week, and I'm glad I'm off this Saturday so I get to sit back and watch my Niners and the Sea Chickens round 3 and get to enjoy some good old football, and I hope everybody out there does the same and enjoys this postseason because it's going to be heating up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I'm off this Saturday as well, so I'll be able to sit back and watch the game as well. It's rare that I have a Saturday off. I originally had requested it to go to a local wrestling show, but I had to change my mind. Instead, I'm going to chill at home, relax for a Saturday, and watch some football, eat some good food, and chat with you gentlemen throughout the games and bullshit about whatever's going on. So I'm ready to go on that. And Steven, your final thoughts.
Man, another great show with you guys. And as I said in the pre-intro before this show went live, this Saturday, folks, is where the real season begins, because the road to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona begins this Saturday with the first round of the playoffs, Super Wild Card Weekend, and we will be back next Tuesday to recap the insanity of Wild Card Weekend action in the NFL. And with that being said, it was another great show with you guys. And Ezra, wrap this up, my friend.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you to you three gentlemen for doing this as always. It was a great prediction battle. Glad we got that out of the way. We got our predictions for Wildcard Weekend set in the books, and of course went over all the latest in the world of sports. So thank you guys. And for everybody who tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in. We always appreciate it. We appreciate you to like, subscribe, to share, and all that good stuff. Please do. Don't forget to follow all the social medias listed down below. Don't forget to follow Nation's Corner, Too Sweet Cosplay, all that good stuff. So, with that being said, for Kevin Rory, for Joey Thornton, for Stevie Wyand, and for our boy who's not here, Randy Gyron, I am Ezra Vickery. We will see you right here next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week and enjoy the football. Peace.